Kear Newsline brings you factual, credible, and balanced information from all parts of Liberia and the continent. Join us Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. and start your day with our balanced and sensational morning news. Our interesting afternoon news comes on at 12 p.m. with updated and fascinating news stories.
From UM Draft Emo Rover, the time is 6 p.m. This is Kia Newsline. Today is Friday, January 24, 2025. I'm Lee Monjue presenting. In the headlines, former ruling coalition for democratic change accuses the Bwaga's administration of rampant corruption and disregard for the rule of law. CDC Youth League Vice Chair Gaizon Davis burns the UP government as complete failure. Following central bank's acknowledgement and assurance to address increase in exchange rate, Kear News surveys reveals growing increase in the prices of basic commodities on the Liberian market. Bond County representative describes as unconstitutional and illegal majority bloc's decision to suspend lawmakers without salaries and benefits. Representative Marvin Cole attributes the decision to influence from the executive branch. And away from Liberia, rebels from the Rwandan-backed M23 have killed a military governor as they advance through Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, report says. This plus our news bulletin, the voices of the newsmakers, details of our foreign development, our package of West Jefferson, Weah, and the news bulletin. Good evening, Jefferson.
Good evening, Lee. Good evening, Liberia. The Vice Chair for Inter-Party Affairs of the National Youth League of the Opposition Congress for Democratic Change has accused the workers' administration of rampant corruption and gross disregard for the rule of law. Gyson Davis alleged that since the inception of the workers' administration, they have failed to improve the living conditions of citizens. Appearing as guest on the Friday's edition of Kear Morning Show, Davis accused the workers' government of rampant corruption, disregard for the rule of law, and continued attacks on critical voices. Meanwhile, the CDC National Youth League Vice Chair also described Representative Richard Kuhn as illegal Speaker of the House of Representatives. He maintained though Speaker Kufa was removed illegally, but the international community still recognizes him as the legitimate Speaker of the House of Representatives. Kear Newsline survey has established the hike in the prices of basic commodities on the Liberian market, including the country's staple rice. Speaking to the station Friday, several Liberians, many of whom are petty traders, admitted to the increase in the prices of basic commodities, attributing it to increase in U.S. rate. According to them, the increase in the prices of basic commodities has created hardship, thus leading to a poor business environment. According to them, the Liberian government, through relevant authorities, should urgently intervene and ensure a stable economy. Recently, the Central Bank of Liberia acknowledged the increase in the exchange rate, assuring its commitment to resolving the situation. Bond County District 3 Representative Marvin Cole has termed as unconstitutional and illegal decision of the majority bloc to suspend lawmakers for their or 30 working days without salary and benefits. Speaking in an interview with reporters, Representative Cole noted that action by the majority bloc leadership is against the rules of the House of Representatives. He alleged that the executive branch of government is brainwashing some members of the House of Representatives, thereby allowing them to make decisions that violate the rules. Bond County District 3 representative, in a frustrated tone, lamented that the leadership of the majority bloc is misusing the power due to what he described as their proximity to the executive branch. He further stated that decision taken by the members of the majority bloc is detrimental to the state, calling for a reconciliation amongst the 73 members of the House of Representatives. The Bon County lawmaker, however, alleged that despite being threatened by the Inspector General of Police, he will be available for the investigation, calling on international partners to be a part of the process. The lawyer representing embattled Speaker Fonati Kofa has disclosed that the judge presiding over the case has reserved his ruling until Monday. Speaking to reporters at the Civil Law Court on Friday, Councillor Cabinet Janet stated that they had asked the court to declare the rights of all lawmakers to participate and vote in the election at the House of Representatives. He noted that the judge had listened to arguments from both sides and reserved the ruling for Monday while expressing confidence of a favorable outcome. Meanwhile, Montserrat County District Representative Yaka Kaluba has alleged that the judge is receiving threats through calls and text messages, warning that his house will be burned if he does not abandon the case. The lawmaker, however, admonished the government to respect and uphold the Constitution while accusing President Joseph Boakai of continuously violating the country's Constitution. Days after being caught taking bribe from taxi drivers on the Bon County Highway by Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman, the Liberia National Police has dismissed one officer and suspended two others for acts of corruption, abuse of authority, and neglect of duty. Sergeant Musa Sharif, who was the team leader, was dismissed with immediate effect, while Julius Reeves and Erasmus Jala were suspended for participating in what the LMP termed as unethical behavior. The decision of the Liberia National Police was triggered by an investigation by the Professional Standards Division after the officers had unexpectedly encountered with the police IG and the LMP Highway Patrol Team on January 17, 2025. According to the release issued by the LMP, the amount of 36,000 Liberian dollars confiscated from the officers as a result of the bribery has been deposited in the government coffers at the Central Bank of Liberia. Members of the disbanded armed forces of Liberia have accused the government of President Joseph Boakai of allegedly abandoning their welfares. Addressing the news conference Friday, the national chairman of the disbanded armed forces of Liberia, Captain Williams Anderson, said it has been over 20 years since the unconstitutional disbandment of the armed forces of Liberia and the status of limitations has passed. Anderson said it is now time to face the Supreme Court to address the injustice of the AFF disbandment, which led to the destruction of their careers. He said the 2024 national budget is a sad reflection of the government's disregard for the welfare of AFL veterans, noting that it is the first time in the country for a budget to be passed without any provision to increase pension. The disbanded, the disbanded armed forces I beg your pardon. The disbanded armed forces of Liberia, however, called on the government of Liberia to abide by the rule of law and ensure that their pension be increased from 7,000 Liberian dollars monthly or face legal action at the Supreme Court of Liberia. As the Liberia Revenue Authority celebrates its 73rd International Customs Day in Liberia, Commissioner General Doba Jala has called on customs officers to maintain integrity in collection of the country's revenue. International Customs Day is celebrated on January 26 every year to recognize the role of customs officers and agencies in maintaining border security and highlight working conditions and challenges that customs officers faced during duties. LRA Commissioner General Doba Jala has challenged customs officers to maintain high level of integrity in the discharge of their duties at various border points and areas of assignments. Commissioner Jala noted that revenue collected is significant to the development of Liberia and improvement of the living condition of many Liberians. He made these comments at the 73rd International Customs Day held at the EJS Ministerial Complex in Congo Town on Friday. For his part, the Commissioner of Custom at the LRA, Sir Samoa, highlighted the significant efforts of customs officers in fostering economic growth and balancing border security. President Joseph Boakai has reassured his administration's commitment to transforming the lives of Liberians. President Boakai stated that his government will continue to work in the interest of the country to ensure they have access to basic life necessities. The Liberian leader underscored the need for Liberians to unite and embrace the culture of development. Despite current challenges being experienced by Liberians, President Boakai urged citizens to remain patient as the government is working to ensure the benefit fair share of the country's resources. The president made the statement during solemn gathering of prayer and reflection held at the Monrovia City Hall on Friday. The national prayer comes just days before his highly anticipated second State of the Nation address on Monday, January 27, 2025. The president of the Press Union of Liberia, Julius Kadoba, has revealed plans to ensure practicing journalists are members of the PUL before taking on reportorial assignments. According to Julius Kadoba, this action of the PUL is to ensure that journalists are from recognized media institutions, adding that this will curtail the influx of individuals personating to be journalists. He said his office has received numerous complaints about unknown individuals purporting to be accredited journalists dubiously taking money from newsmakers. Speaking on a radio talk show Friday, Julius Kanuba said the move by the union will address such situation. Meanwhile, the PUL president has called on media practitioners to abide by the ethical standards of the journalism profession. Kanuba assured journalists that the union is working to ensure the various or the values of the press union of Liberia is restored. Days after being caught and away from Liberia, rebels from the Rwanda-backed M23 have killed a military governor as they advance to Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, reports say. Fighting between the M23 and DR Congo's army has intensified since the start of the year, with the rebels seizing control of more territory than ever. Major General Peter Jiriwami, North Kivu's governor, was fatally injured by M23 factors when visiting the front line on Thursday, according to United Nations documents cited by news agencies Reuters and AFP. More than 400,000 people have fled their homes since the start of this year as the M23 advances on the city of Goma, the UN reports. Well, Lee, those were the latest from the news center, and it's back to you for continuation of the program.
Jefferson, we are on the full bulletin of news from the news center, one of the regular features of Kear Newsline. One of the big stories we are following tonight, Bon County Representative describes as unconstitutional and illegal. Majority blocks decision to suspend lawmakers without salaries and benefits. Representative Marvin Cole attributes the decision to influence from the executive branch. With that, we take our first development. The vice chair for inter-party affairs of the National Youth League of Opposition Congress for Democratic Change has accused the Boakas administration of rampant corruption and gross disregard for the rule of law. Gerson David alleged that since the inception of the Boakas administration, they have failed to improve the living conditions of citizens. Appearing as guest on the Friday's edition of the Kear Morning Show, Davis accused the Boakas government of rampant corruption, disregard for the rule of law, and continuous attack on critical voices.
If that is not a very classic example of how Britain have decided to abuse the rule of law, weaponized judiciary, I don't know few other examples. Britain cares less about the rule of law, cares less about observing our judicial processes. He is about little about it. People who were appointed in certain positions in the country, who all our laws allow them to serve their term in the real position. When Britain became president, the tempted to have them removed from the Supreme Court, or if it's a better court, we don't pay. Instead of the president, they cannot remove these people when they're controlled back up. They don't have the authority. It is the legislative branch that made it law. So any effort to have rotating positions removed is the same legislative branch of government as all obligation on our law to do so. So you as a president, you don't have the authority to have to build a constitutional authority that has been bestowed upon the legislature to make laws. That's one of every authority you have to go back to the legislature. Because when I don't listen, you keep the also charging against you because you pressurize the officials of the party, including party one of them, they will door. So you automatically suspend them. What is the result of that incident? There was no evidence of corruption, only official being exactly at your team.
Meanwhile, the CDC National Youth League Chair Vice Chair has described Representative Richard Kuhn as an illegal Speaker of the House of Representatives. He said though Speaker Kofa was removed illegally, but the international community still recognized him as the legitimate Speaker of the House.
Today, we have two speakers. One is the speaker of nation affairs.
Yes, Fanatico Pastor, the speaker.
Who is still the speaker? Yes, political right is speaker. But two elected. And Lord, when the Lord are not followed to remove him, he still remains. So he has not resigned. But he resigned, political right remains.
But Rachel is daddy as speaker. In fact, Rachel now has his official REE1 as which signifies the head of the legislature.
I just follow a stance on the voices of the federal government. That is impersonation. That is wrong. That is a crime. We just don't. It's illegal. He was not elected as speaker. Political was elected as speaker. He remains the speaker. So support the impersonation as a speaker. Flying official. REP one place. That's a violation of our law.
So he has presided over the budget, and in fact, the portion of the budget that was due for Nancy Cooper is now to Rachel Cool. So we just have one thing. Rachel Cool, from our indication, will preside over the solar with the president about the information. Other president Walker.
That tells you how better evidence on the rule of law. So I went international organization like ECOWAS in
Gerson Davis is the Vice Chair for Inter-Party Affairs at the National Youth League of Opposition Congress for Democratic Change. Kear News survey has established the hike in the prices of basic commodities on the Liberian market, including the country's stable rice. Speaking to this station Friday, several Liberians, many of whom are petty traders, admitted to the increase in the prices of basic commodities, attributing it to increase in the US rate. According to them, the increase in the prices of basic commodities has created hardship, thus leading to a poor business environment.
Why? Effective my belly not buying. When you saw the country, they take no money. The country right now, I think you better for one time a day. My children, I will keep my child, I will keep my children going to school. Red, now I come up by red. I come up by red 3:35 for one paper red. Now I come up by it. 3:30, 3:50. The red travel is steady. The red set off is steady. When they say expensive, I can say what make it expensive. I say, I'll see the US and after my food, I'll see I expensive because they want it. I will cheat the US. I'm going to give you to go my food there. I can't. Well, I can't. Well, the night is going to say, well, I'll buy you. I will not do it. I will ask one thing only from you to get something to myself. But I will order it complete. The only thing as the dropping the US dropping, they drop the 2 person. Money coming. Hapo naye trust mage bene very hard. Mage bene hard, e mage mu bias of now. We bias, once I see was now we buy it, 4:30 for forget. 4:30 for forget, we will buy the best. That 50:30, 20 for now. They pay the buy it for 25:30 for bed. So mage bene hard. If this thing I just go me at home.
And then Roland Guba, after rest. The rest buying, if they buy a bankrupt, because the US will claim me all again, so the rest will claim me all again. We are buying the rest, 3,300. So now the rate making it buying 3,500. So the rate we set this time, yesterday, so for the whole day, I wouldn't have to get one profit from 2 beds. So the rate you have, yeah. So now where's we going to do a good rate now? I did. We can now you do all right.
And say, for the season, the rail will drop, the steam pressure will drop. See the project and the sodium press off for $3.75 for $4.50. Pressure is definitely off. You will not go to the store if I for $3.50, buy project at $4.50. No, the difference is, you have pass on it at the second half, you pass on the goods. And then most of the rate will off to harvest.
Several Liberians there speaking with our reporters on Friday. Bond County District 3 Representative Marvin Cole has termed as unconstitutional and illegal decision of the majority bloc to suspend lawmakers for 30 working days without salaries and benefits. Speaking in an interview with reporters, Representative Cole noted that action by the majority bloc's leadership is against the rules of the House of Representatives. He alleged that the executive branch of government is brainwashing some members of the House of Representatives, thereby allowing them to make decisions that violate the House's rules.
The decision by the police of powers to have suspended us for the time that they have spoken about without pay, without benefits. Well, I mean, that is the tyranny of the majority, even though what they've done is unconstitutional, it's illegal, it is against the rules and regulations of the House of Representatives. And we believe that all of these things are happening because the executive branch of government is siding with our police. That is so unfortunate because if you say we have been suspended for 30 working days, 30 working days can only be Monday, Tuesday and Thursdays as they are counting. So you're almost practically saying 4 months. So we do not only work for Tuesday and Thursday, we work from Monday to Friday. They know that it is in our rules. So if we say 30 working days, it may should be just 1 month. But to go to that extent, it tells you where our nation going. It tells you the kind of anger, the kind of vendettas that people have against each other. And it's so unfortunate that we are in the same chambers, we sit in the same place, and people doing what they're doing because they are wrongfully using the influence and the power that they have. They're where we are. When you attack democracy, when you attack the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, it just dangerous for the future of our country. And I'm hoping that all of us, the three of us, will reconsider some of the decisions that we've made about the way we are, including the executive and even the judiciary branch of government.
Meanwhile, the Bone County lawmaker alleged that despite being threatened by Inspector General of Police Gregory Coleman, he will be available for the investigation, calling on international partners to form part of the process.
Well, we have had exchanges between the police IG Honorable Gregory Coleman, where he personally threatened me, and I'm only concerned, and that was not going to be the reason why I will not submit to the process, but I'm concerned that international partners and presidents should be there, they should be part of the investigation, because if the man who has threatened me before
He said, want to investigate me. I'm concerned whether I will have impartial investigation. I am a law-abiding citizen and I'm a lawmaker. If you're a lawmaker, you shouldn't have been a lawbreaker. So once the communication, I will never address personally or officially as a person of interest. I mean, it's something that we have heard in the corridor of the news, and then the legislature. In fact, our colleagues did not formally communicate to us that, no, you have been requested. Everybody says they say, and that's it. So right now, once the police ask that I should go to the police station and make myself available, because once you are not guilty of any crime, only criminals, as I said, run from the police. But if you are a law-abiding citizen, you will always embrace the law and you will not run from the law.
Bon County District 3 Representative Marvin Cole. Ahead of President Joseph Boakai State of the Nation address Monday, Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana has disclosed tight security measures put in place to avoid incident of last year's inaugural address. Speaking during the Executive Mansion Press regular press briefing Friday, Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana said there will be tight security protocol at the SONA to avoid overcrowdedness at the program.
Who things and work with all sectors for smooth running of the country. Whether or not the tightness of the security relates to lawmakers who are intending to work, but of course not. This event, as I said, is going to be an outdoor event. It's going to be in the open, so obviously security will be tight. It's not that when you're doing an indoor event. Security can be a lot easier to cover the area, to know where to stand and what to do. But when you're doing an outdoor event, you need more, security. You need to ensure that the increased number of securities who you will not naturally or normally use when you're having an indoor event. So it is from that basis. And Capitol Grounds is the house of the people. Sometimes and most times people will just walk in, they're coming to visit their leaders or their family people and all of that. Sometimes people who are not invited to these kinds of occasions, who are coming here, want to see, to know what's happening. So just to avoid overcrowdedness, because as you know, some cases did mention experience from the inauguration that was held where it was overly crowded and the people based on what the team learned from that.
Kula Fofana is Presidential Press Secretary there addressing Executive Mansion regular press briefing Friday. Well, listeners, if you are just tuning, you are listening to the Friday, January 24, 2025, 6 p.m. edition of Kear Newsline. 45 minutes of the most recent news reporting about Liberia and the rest of our one world. I'm Lee Monjue in to present us here. Big story is top in the news tonight. Former ruling coalition for democratic change accuses the Bwaka's administration of rampant corruption and disregard for the rule of law. CDC Youth League Vice Chair Garrison Davis brands the UP government as complete failure. Following central bank's acknowledgement and assurance to address increase in exchange rate, Kear News survey reveals growing increase of prices of basic commodities on the Liberian market. Bon County representative describes as unconstitutional and illegal majority blocks decision to suspend lawmakers without salaries and benefits. Representative Marvin Cole attributes the decision to influence from the executive branch and away from Liberia, rebels from the Rwanda-backed M23 have killed a military governor as they advance through Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, report says. We'll take another break to be back with more developments. Many thanks for journalist. The president of the Press Union of Liberia, Julius Kanwa, has revealed plans to ensure practicing journalists are members of the BUL before taking on reportorial assignment. According to Julius Canova, this action of the PUL is to ensure that journalists are from recognized media institutions, adding that this will curtail the influence of individuals personating to be journalists. Speaking on a radio talk show Friday, Julius Canova said the move by the union will address concerns of impersonating by some individuals.
The registration process of the PER is a form of licensing, a form of accreditation. I know licensing can be controversial within the journalism community, but licensing, certification, accreditation, they are all synonymous. So our intent is to have all journalists, media and communication officers or personnel practitioners accounted for. And before you practice journalism, per our own thinking is that you must be a full member of the union. I mean, we should not have people who are not journalists holding cell phones. I mean, they are citizen journalists or amateur journalists or unprofessional journalists, but yet they infiltrate the space, right? And we have instances, for instance, people abusing different needs of individuals. They take their picture, create a WhatsApp account, say this is Joseph Daniels, and then they hold telephone in their hand, they say they are journalists. In fact, extorting money from some people. And all of us, we have to be critical of some of these things that are happening. Don't give money to people who you don't know. Even if they call themselves journalists, what we intend to do, and then working with different actors, is to ensure, for instance, if Joseph Daniels is assigned at the executive mansion, before he gets accreditation, so to speak, from the executive mansion or that leverage to cover, to cover the executive mansion, he must be a member of the PUL. He must always display that particular license, so to speak.
Meanwhile, the President of Liberia President has called on media practitioners to abide by the ethical standards of the journalism profession. Canova assured journalists that the union is working to ensure the values of the President of Liberia is restored.
We are working to ensure that the PUL of the past, both the immediate past and the way back past, those values that all of us stand for are respected. PUL is a self-regulatory body, right? There are a constitution, which is a very powerful instrument. The constitution has got a core of ethics and conduct for Liberian journalists, and that core of ethics and conduct is also binding on all members of the PUL. So the enforcement of the constitution and the lapses in the enforcement of the constitution, those two areas are what we try to strike a balance. For us, we are for the enforcement of the constitution. Because the failure to enforce the constitution, the bylaws, and the core ethics has led to, a loose process of journalism in the country. And we don't want to be overly critical, but to make journalism a profession in Liberia that will be respected, you need a governance mechanism in place, right? There's no barrier to entry in journalism, but the PUL, working in partnership with the constituents, in the members, different media development organizations who have to set the standards. Because you can't consider yourself as a professional person if you don't have a professional organization.
President of Liberia President Julius Canova. As the Liberia Revenue Authority celebrates its 73rd International Custom Day in Liberia, Commissioner General Double Jala has called on custom officers to maintain integrity in collection of the country's revenue. International Custom Day is celebrated on January 26 every year to recognize the role of custom officials and agencies in maintaining border security and highlighting working conditions and challenges that custom officers face during duties. Commissioner Jada spoke at programs marking the 73rd International Custom Day held at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex in Congotown Friday.
Currently, most of 100 million, now we are achieving more than 200 million. But because of that now, there's a greater responsibility for 1.5 billion. Because as we set for ourselves, as an authority, we need to pay more. And in doing so, there are certain key values that we must uphold. So let me talk about some of them. Integrity, like a commission of consolidation, is due tolerance to corruption. Corruption erodes trust and undermines progress. At the NRA, We maintain a zero tolerance policy, corruption and tax and cost administration. Let us each be ambassadors of integrity in our respective roles. Expectations can be high, and we train that custom officers and people of integrity. And as such, we will continue to exhibit a very high degree of integrity as they execute the profound responsibilities. We have an ambitious goal for 2025, but I'm confident that it is achievable through teamwork, innovation, and collaboration. So we work together, whether it's the 2025 targets or is anything else that challenges us as a team, and just together we can surmount those challenges.
For his part, the Commissioner of Custom at the Liberia Revenue Authority, Sir Samoa, highlighted the significant effort of custom officers in fostering economic growth and balancing border security.
Customs delivering on this commitment to efficiency, security, and prosperity. This team encapsulates the critical role of customs in balancing border security, trade facilitation, foster economic growth. Consistent with this theme, I am proud to reaffirm that Liberia Customs has remained steadfast in achieving these objectives. Over the past 3 years, 80% of our staff have completed this highest courses at the Liberia National Police Training Academy. The final batch of current custom officers is undergoing preliminary preparations for enrollment at the Liberia National Police Training Academy. This is one of our customs security programs, CSC, and open the door for phase 2 of the CSC. I have committed to the Commissioner General that phase 2 of the customs security program will come this year. We should focus on armed certification of customs officers for another police. The Department of Customs of the Liberia Authority. We also look forward to working with the armed forces Liberia on aspects of phase 2 of the customs security program in the framework of the memorandum of understanding signed with the armed forces Liberia and the Ministry of National Defense in 2022.
Liberia Revenue Authority Commissioner of Custom, Sir Samoa. White Liberia is admonishing school administrators to conclude the registration process of candidates who are to participate in this year's WAS exam. Speaking when he appeared on the Kear Morning Show Friday, the communications director at White Liberia, Prince Nangwe, said the government has taken responsibility to pay the fees of all 12 graders across the country.
Let me begin by saying the registration for the school candidate exam is ongoing. Schools are now supposed to be concluded, especially for 12 graders, schools with 12 graders, and public school non-graders. The reason why they should be concluded is because the government pays the fee for all 12 graders in the country. So the government pays the fee for all 12 graders, and the government pays the fee for all public school non-graders. So if you are a new school, the procedure is the DO in the district where the school is situated, a formal communication telling WAEC that the school is legitimate to operate. You bring that, then WAEC issues you what we call the school code and the default password. The school code, because you know the registration is online. You sit right at the school and you load your candidate onto the platform. But before you are given access to the platform, do the communication. The communication is okay. You send your information responsible because test administration union, then they provide you the school code. Every school has one. So then before you enter now to register your candidate, you must have a password. So we also give you a password. But the password we give you is the default password. So then you will change the default password to your own password so that nobody can use your system. So the fact that the government is paying the fee for all 12 graders, so all the schools need to do is just enter. Oh, okay. So the private school have the fee, you do your thing.
White Liberia Head of Communication, Prince Nangwe. The lawyer representing Imbato, Speaker for the Anti-Kofa, has disclosed that the judge presiding over the case has reserved his ruling to Monday. Speaking to reporters at the Civil Law Court on Friday, Councillor Cabinet Jennings stated that they had asked the court to declare the right of all lawmakers to participate and vote in the election at the House of Representatives.
We basically argue the points we made in our petition for declaratory rule, asking the court to declare the right of all the members of the House of Representatives to participate and vote in the election of officers of that honorable house. That's all we have for. The judge had listened to arguments on both sides based on a motion filed by the respondent this time to the group belonging to Mr. Richard Nandi Court, who and have reserved his ruling for Monday at 11 a.m. So we believe that he's going to rule in our favor. That being the law.
Meanwhile, Monserrato County District Representative Weah has alleged that the judge is receiving threats through calls and text messages warning that his house will be burned if he does not abandon the case.
Judge has been threatening when the judge himself has been threatening, how people were going hard, how people would kill him if he don't abandon the case. How are we going to threaten the justice system? Really? Yes, the judge said that you were there. People were there. As Peter Kobe was there. Meaning was there sitting. He said, you can't do me calling in the court. I am saying the judge. The judge said, before him, they threatened him, they sent them messages to him, how they went hot, how they would kill him. Is that the kind of one on God of power for Joseph Butler be telling his people to threaten the judge of this country? It's wrong. That is why, no, we are studying the ruling from the judge. We are not going to preempt the ruling from the judge. The judge will rule. Any ruling from the judge will accept it. We don't want Joseph Walker, the Joseph president of this country, to stop disrespecting the constitution of this country. Let me give chance to the justice system to do their work. Joseph Walker said he will liberate the country, will respect all the laws. When instead of respecting the laws, he has become a junta of this country. No, Boston, who know a junta can suspend the constitution of a country. Can you imagine all of Joseph Walker or George is being president? As a constitutional being suspended.
Monserrato County District 10 Firebrand Representative Weah. Well, listeners, on that note, just have like to draw the curtains of today's Friday, January 24, 2025, 6 p.m. edition of Kear Newsline. This has been the joint effort of the News and Current Affairs Department, yet a Kear Communications Network. Many thanks to all of our reporters, contributors, editors who helped in making this edition of the program a success. Many thanks to Jefferson Weah who brought for us a full bulletin of national and international news. James Walkway sat at control and handled the technical aspect. Before we take a leave, a recap of our headlines. Former ruling coalition for democratic change accuses the Workers' administration of rampant corruption and disregard for the rule of law. CDC Youth League Vice Chair Gaison Davis burns the UP government as complete failure and embarrassment. Following central bank's acknowledgement and assurance to address increase in exchange rate, Kear News survey reveals growing increase of prices of basic commodities on the Liberian market. As you other heard in the news, Bond County representative describes as unconstitutional and illegal. Majority blocks decision to suspend lawmakers without salaries and benefits. Representative Marvin Cole attributes the decision to influence from the executive branch. And away from Liberia, rebels from the Rwandan-backed M23 have killed a military governor. They have advanced through Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, report says. Thanks for listening. I'm Lee Monjue, are packaged and presented. Good night.